and an alternative investment that could last generations. Thursday, Don Pollock's World, Exploring Quirky at 9:30 on Pearl.
試下我呢度招牌菜啦！
好唔好食㗎？跟住我拆你招牌噃。
插我招牌，我參加咗違例招牌檢核計劃㗎。
Unauthorized signboards erected before September 2nd, 2013, and which are eligible to join the scheme, may be retained if they are inspected, strengthened, and certified safe by building professionals or registered contractors, and acknowledged by the Buildings Department.
記得每5年
檢查同核證一次啊嘛。
Signboard validation makes us safe.
Good evening. Concerns over Ukraine ahead of comments from U.S. Federal Reserve Chair Janet Yellen weighed on the markets today. While traders remained alert to the situation in Ukraine, they're also getting ready to hear Yellen's latest testimony to lawmakers on Wednesday. Investors are also waiting to hear what the European Central Bank will say about the strength of the euro on Thursday. Few economists believe the central bank will cut interest rates or introduce new measures to shore up the economic recovery in the 18-country eurozone. To the charts now. The Dow Jones is down 76 points. The S&P 500 is down 7 points. U.S. 30-year Treasury bond is priced at $104.39. Spot gold $1,306 an ounce. U.S. dollar cross rates the yen 101.60, the euro 1.39, and the sterling 1.69. European markets, the UK FTSE is down 23 points, the French CAC is down 34 points, and the German DAX is down 61 points. Stay with us, the news is next.
You're watching TVB Pearl. Up shortly, we hand you over to our news department for a summary of all the day's top stories in the News Roundup. Jamie Oliver, on a mission to enlighten the culinarily uninspired, committed to improving people's lives through food. The result? Delicious, gorgeous, and easy.
All of that in well under half an hour.
Wednesday, Jamie's 30-minute meals at 8 on Pearl. What do you see when you look at a painting? What are you supposed to see? Embark on a highly visual journey of exploration to get an exciting perspective on how to truly appreciate the world of painting. Friday, Delia's School of Canada presents How to Look at a Painting at 8 on Pearl. The outstanding achievements and contributions of distinguished marketers deserves to be recognized. Since 2005, HKMA TVB Awards for Marketing Excellence has been presenting individual awards to honor distinguished marketers and bestow prestige and recognition upon them. The time has come for you to acknowledge the marketing elite in your company.
The HKMA TVB Awards
for Marketing Excellence
is open for entry now. Give us your support.
HKMA TVB Awards for Marketing Excellence 2014 is open for nomination now.
Cantar à toa e vadiar, tá tudo fora do lugar. O amor chegou, zum, 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 zum no coração. A noite inteira suspirar, de dia ainda quer sonhar. O amor chegou, zum, 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 zum e a emoção. Não dá pra tirar da cabeça o que não sai do coração. E a emoção, zum, zum, toma conta da razão. E devagar surge uma voz que não dá pra silenciar dentro de nós. Zum, 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 zum e a emoção.
It was 20 years ago. Ever since, time has never been so magical.
The time now is 11:44. The Time Check was brought to you by Chopin.
Another knife attack at China Rail Station, this time in Guangzhou. Scuffles amid poll on Hong Kong's political reform process, and all the sights and sounds of the Bun Festival. Good evening. Tens of thousands of people flocked to Changchao today to celebrate the annual Bun Festival. And in less than 15 minutes, competitors will scramble up the famous bun towers for the annual competition. Joao da Silva is standing by at Changchao to tell us more. Joao, how's it going out there?
Good evening. Despite the rain, it's been a great night here in Changchao. People have just come back from their seafood dinners and from the numerous Cantonese opera shows to watch the exciting bun scrambling competition, which this year is in its 10th anniversary since the tradition was revived in 2005. But between watching the parade and feasting on peace buns, there's been plenty of fun here throughout the day. Let's have a look. The Dragons woke up early on Changchao today. It's that one day of the year when this normally sleepy island is packed with visitors to celebrate the Bun Festival. This couple is from Australia.
A parade. I heard that the little children get dressed up in pretty costumes. Get carried along. Yeah, and we want to look at the bun towers.
These people thought the peace buns are well worth waiting in line for an hour. Customers are spoiled for choice. This woman couldn't decide between lotus bean or sesame paste filling. The peace logo is on every merchandise imaginable. The vendors just hope the weather wouldn't ruin this once-a-year business opportunity. Despite the rain, huge crowds of revelers are here in Changchao Island celebrating this wonderful mixture of religious tradition, food, music and political satire that makes this festival one of Hong Kong's main tourist attractions. And this is the highlight for the day, the parade. The so-called floating children, some of them making a mockery of government officials. This one is supposed to be Chief Secretary for Administration Carrie Lam. The Changchao Bun Festival has its roots in the island's tradition of warding off the plague and bad luck. The people of Changchao have been marking the event by praying for peace in the 4th month of the lunar calendar. Everything is set here for the start of the bun scrambling competition. At the stroke of midnight, the 12 contestants will be racing to the top of the 18-meter tower behind me as they snatch buns, which are worth more points the higher they are. So stay tuned, we'll be bringing you all the action live in just a few minutes. That's all from me, back to you in the studio.
And that was Joao da Silva reporting from Changchao. We'll have more from the island later in the show. In other news now, 6 people were injured in a knife attack at the Guangzhou railway station today. Authorities say all 6 are out of danger and are in stable condition. Police caught a male suspect at the scene, but his identity is still unknown. It's the 3rd knife attack at a major mainland railway station this year. Jenny Lam reports.
The attack at Guangzhou railway station happened at around 11:30 a.m. Witnesses recalled the chaos. This person saw 4 people dressed in Uyghur clothing stab a number of people, some in the back and one on the arm. A woman bled profusely, then fell to the ground. A police officer who arrived at the scene fired at the suspects, hitting one of them and subduing him. This person says the suspect was covered in blood. This was the latest in a series of knife attacks at railway stations on the mainland in recent months. Just last week, 3 people died and 79 were injured at a railway station in Urumqi, and 29 were killed and 143 injured in a similar attack at a station in Kunming in March. Many of the previous cases have been linked to Uyghur separatists. Jenny Lam, TVB News.
Here in Hong Kong, members of the Occupy Central movement say a poll they carried out shows that many support the idea of civil nominations playing a part in the chief executive election process. More than 2,000 voted for the preferred political reform proposal. The 3 proposals that got the highest votes include the ones put forward by students, People Power, and the Alliance for True Democracy. Earlier in the day, clashes erupted as anti-Occupy Central protesters rallied at the pro-democracy movement carrying out its poll. It's a clear sign of the difficulty in trying to find a consensus on how the city would achieve universal suffrage. Scuffles broke out in North Point between opponents of the Occupy Central movement and those taking part in today's deliberation day. Police intervened as emotions ran high, mostly from the opponents, who are concerned about the damage the proposed civil disobedience campaign may bring to Hong Kong. But the Occupy Central participants focused on why they want to continue with the meeting.
We want to tell the Hong Kong government and also the Beijing government that we want to have public participation.
We understand there is still room to discuss based on the basic law.
The deliberation day was held at 5 venues around town today. Participants discussed the pros and cons of 15 electoral reform proposals that meet the requirements set by a panel of legal scholars to ensure the public would have a genuine choice of chief executive candidates to vote for. Of the 15, 1 of them was put forward by pro-establishment scholar, and 6 of them offer elements of civil nomination. About 2,500 members of the public who signed a declaration of support for the movement are being asked to vote for the preferred proposal. The 3 with the highest number of votes will be put to a citywide referendum.
And they will have the chance to indicate their preference on the 22nd June next month. And then we can come up with one proposal. No matter whether that proposal includes civil nomination or not, that will be the proposal that Occupy Central will fight for.
And Tai said Occupy Central will decide after the government puts forward its official proposal on whether to hold a separate referendum on the public's acceptance of it.
It will be the responsibility of the SAR government to convince us their proposal of the government can still satisfy the international standard, can still guarantee genuine choices for voters in an election.
Benny Tai said he is more than satisfied with today's turnout. He pointed out this shows many people still care about political reform in Hong Kong. The world's first human case of H5N6 avian flu has been reported in Sichuan province. The patient has now died, Diane To reports.
The world's first victim of the H5N6 strain of the avian flu virus was a 49-year-old man in the city of Nanchong in Sichuan province. Local authorities said he had come into contact with dead poultry before he fell ill. The man was thought to have died of acute severe pneumonia initially, but later tested positive for the H5N6 strain. So far, none of those who came into close contact with the victim has shown any symptoms. More than 1,300 birds that tested positive for the H5N6 strain in Sichuan have since been culled. Disease control authorities in Taiwan said the low pathogenic H5N6 strain has been found in the US, Germany and Sweden since 1984, but that there had not been any human case until now. Dr. Evelina Leung from the Department of Microbiology at the University of Hong Kong says what's important now is to establish whether the virus has mutated in such a way so that it can be transmitted from poultry to humans.
If this is an infection involving the H5N6 alone in an otherwise healthy young adult, and it resulted in severe pneumonia and death, that would mean something more significant.
Experts believe the death in Sichuan was a one-off case because the risk of the strain spreading remains low. Diane To, TVB News.
Overseas now, South Korean officials say a civilian diver involved in the search for bodies at the site of the sunken ferry has died while on duty. He's the first fatality among divers mobilized following the ferry's sinking. The 53-year-old was pulled to the surface by fellow divers after losing communication 5 minutes into his underwater search. Despite the death, authorities are continuing their search. Last month's sinking of the Sewol left more than 260 people dead, with about 40 others missing. Many of the victims were students on a school trip. Russia's foreign minister has ruled out holding fresh talks over the crisis in Ukraine.